Welcome to Wordpath, a show about the importance of Oklahoma Indian languages and the people who are preserving them. Tonight we're going to visit Creek language classes in Stillwater. The Creek speaker who teaches these classes is George Bunny of Oklahoma City. He's assisted by Ted Isham, who writes and analyzes the language. Ted is also involved in the Muskogee Language Institute, a nonprofit organization dedicated to preserving the Muskogee Creek language and assisting Creek language classes around the state. We first met Ted Isham on a previous Wordpath show about Linda Alexander's Creek classes in Norman. Ted, what about you? Did you grow up speaking Creek?
No, I didn't. I grew up speaking English like most people my generation. We've, especially in this area here, we're away from our national center, I guess, or our group.
Did you grow up in the Norman area?
In Oklahoma City, but there's a lot of Indians, or Creek Indians, we'll say, that had to move away from the Creek Nation. So we end up speaking quite a bit of English, but it was spoken. Creek was spoken fairly regularly in my home.
So you certainly heard it.
Oh yes. As a matter of fact, I'm being chastised now for not listening to my grandparents like I should have.
Yeah.
By my elders.
Yeah.
Not Linda. Linda wouldn't do that to me, but others.
Now, Ted, did you take just a Creek 1 class, or did you take a series?
I took the Creek 1, 2, and 3 at the OU with Linda and Jack. And they've been pretty helpful because it showed me that there's a structure. I knew there was a structure to the language, but I didn't know. And then having it taught in an academic setting like that showed the structure, and then having Linda there to help us along, and it was really, really a good experience for me. And so I'm glad that I'm still being able to work with Linda now. Taking these classes at OU has brought the realization to me that there is something that needs to be done, and for me, this is my only thing that I can contribute. I don't know. I know the language pretty well, but not well enough to say I'm a fluent speaker or even understand half of what I hear. But it's part of me, and as a part of that, I've joined with a couple other people. George Bunny was one. He's a teacher from Oklahoma City, and we formed a nonprofit group we call ourselves Muskogee Language Institute. And it's a real high-power sounding name, but it basically what we're doing is we're trying to get an outlet for teaching the classes and getting money to come in somehow. Once you're a nonprofit or institute or a group, an organized group, then you're more likely to get more help from people, government agencies or foundations even. And as long as it can help further the teaching of our language, then that's what I'm for.
We will also hear tonight from Dr. Pete Coser of Oklahoma State University about his involvement with the class and his efforts to get Oklahoma Indian languages taught for credit at OSU. The classes in Stillwater meet near the OSU campus in the United Methodist Youth Center. Let's visit with George Bunny, Ted Isham, Pete Coser, and the class.
You missed it.
Big boy, keep on your luck, poco and back peaks.
Verb final languages. Can't even spell. Verb final languages. In verb final languages, the verb is really taking a central place in the whole structure. As we've seen in some of these lists I give out, you can, or for instance, my most favorite word, which is what? The whole sentence is structured on this one verb right here. This is one word, but it's based on this verb, to visit. Saying the whole sentence would be, I will visit you sometimes in the future. Or we could have switched it around and said, Now, how do we say that one? Untribal Thidi. Question. It's a question. So what do you think we're asking? Will you visit? Will you come visit me, or will you visit me sometimes in the future? So, again, the whole sentence is contained in this one word, and this is a common feature, I guess, in verb final languages. So that's why I like to spend a lot of time going through all these little verbs and stringing them out, trying to make them do things that probably normal creatures don't do. But it shows that there's a structure, and we can get to a lot of information by doing that. So we have this whole sentence in this one verb when we don't have our subject or object actually named, or if they're pronouns. When they're pronouns, they get incorporated into the verb. Okay. I want to make sure that that was clear. First off, how do we say these two sentences? One more time? How about this other one? So we have Jibai Pokon Nafkis. Then the next one, the other sentence, we have Poka Jiban Nafkis. What's the difference? Which one? First one is saying the boy is hitting the ball, like in the baseball game. He's the one doing the hitting. And the second one, what are we saying?
The ball is hitting the ball.
Ball, how would that happen?
Like it's up there.
Yeah, he was out there batting and the pitcher hit it early, or he got hit. And actually, that's what's, yeah. So, the word order is important in Greek, just like in English. But on top of that, to make this solidified, we mark our subjects and our objects just so that we're absolutely sure what's going on. Because if you say it in the wrong way, it makes a whole different meaning. Okay? So we put our T at the end of the subjects and our N at the end of the objects to help you.
My name is George Bunny, and down in the area where I was raised, down around Dustin, Oklahoma, everybody knows me as Buddy, but IRS knows me as George Bunny. And every time I go back down there, they call me Buddy. They don't call me George. But my Indian name that was given to me by a church deacon named Henry Day is Hutchinubba. That means creek bank. And my clan is Hodalgulgi. That's the Wind clan. The clan that you belong to, you always go with your mother's side. Whatever your mother was, then that's what you are, see. And so my mother was the Wind clan, and so we're all Wind clan. But my mother raised 9 of us kids, 8 boys and 1 girl. And she took a baby 2 days old and raised her. See, we were taught all Creek in our house. Well, Mom, she didn't talk English, even when she was getting after us. I thought, for a while, my name was Vegas. That means quit. She didn't pull any punches, because when she looked at us, we knew what to do. We knew when to sit down and be quiet. And she's always told us, I don't want to have to tell you anymore. And we knew what was coming up.
Would she say that to you in Creek language?
Mm-hmm.
What does it sound like in Creek?
Chimuneha no godogachi. Ahamgujin no naya no what?
Then you knew you better shape up.
Yeah. Boy, she just was really stern in saying that too. Yeah. She meant what she meant what she was saying. Yeah. When I was going to school, when I was from the primary to the 8th grade, I went to a government boarding school called Uchi Boarding School in Sapulpa.
You didn't speak English before you went to school, right?
No, I didn't. I didn't know how to
like?
speak English.
Was it hard for you?
Yeah, it was. They put out cards of different things, you know, and we had to pronounce them, but they kept drilling us until we finally learned to say a few words.
They still let you speak Creek language at that school, didn't they?
Yes, they did.
They didn't punish you for it?
No, they didn't. We spoke on the playgrounds. We talked to each other on the playgrounds. And
were all of your classmates Creek speakers, or most of them? Or?
Most of us. I wasn't the only one that wasn't able to talk English. There was others that come there that couldn't talk English. And for a while there, we'd have to have an interpreter, an older student, to interpret for us. But it was all right after, when you learned English. The first thing we learned in school was quit.
Quit?
Or don't do that.
Oh, right, yeah.
And so that's the way my education went. I graduated from 8th grade up from Uchi in Sapulpa, and then I went to Haskell Institute for 9, 10, 11, and 12th grade. And that's the high school part. Haskell Indian Institute in Lawrence, Kansas.
Now, when you went to Haskell Institute, that must have been kind of different because you were with a lot of different tribes there, I guess, right?
Yes, it was.
So you couldn't speak Creek with most of your classmates there, probably.
Well, we spoke Creek to the ones that knew Creek. And we've had friends from other tribes, but they wanted us to teach them how to talk Creek too sometimes. Yeah. And
did you?
yeah, we taught them how to talk Creek.
When did you first get involved in kind of formal classroom teaching like this?
I went to a class just like the students here are going to. We had a Seminole lady teaching us, and and she taught us Creek language. And out of a class of 16, I was the only one that took up teaching.
Was this in Oklahoma City?
Yes, it was in Oklahoma City. I just made up my mind I was going to teach it. And so that's when I started teaching, which was about 15, 16 years ago. And I've been teaching it ever since.
So have you been teaching mostly in Oklahoma City?
Yes, most of the time in Oklahoma City, but I've taught in Creek Nation area, and I've taught in Porch Band of Creek Indians in Atmore, Alabama. I went there last July, teach them for 8 weeks.
Wow, what was that like?
Oh, it was different. They didn't know any Creek at all there. Of course, they're part of the Creeks, but they didn't know any Creek. So I taught them the language, and when I left there, I got them a teacher, and I got them where they could speak to each other.
That's great. That's wonderful.
In 8 weeks, that's
pretty good.
A lot of work.
You must be a good teacher, yeah.
I also do culture work. I tell stories like how the possum's tail is bald, and then why the turtle's got red eyes, why the turtle has those lines on their backs. Next trip I got is on the 18th. I got to go to Freedom School way up there by Elva to talk to the students up there. And I'm getting pretty busy. I'm going to Little Rock School come the 22nd, talk to their Creek class graduation. And I'm getting pretty busy for the summer. So I belong to the artist in residence for the State Arts Council, and I get a lot of my referrals out of there. But then they send out a booklet, and they look in the booklet, and my picture and my resume's in there, so they call me, and I enjoy talking to them. I also teach Creek hymn singing. A lot of people that wants to learn some of them songs, and they don't know them, they'll come to class and learn to sing. I put the Creek Hymn Book together, and it's a small book. It looked like a New Testament, but that's what we use in our churches today.
Chia hay gas, isagidamisi, jinyikji pos, jinyikji pos. Okay? You need that? He does. Dan coba kita kauban, napa melkat singgih hai jadi, gojan hijab, ini kita buah, singgih kita nikana nomoje, jia hai sisa kita mesi, jinye jinos, jinye jinos, jia hai sisa kita mesi, jinye jinos, jinye jinos. Okay. Hallelujah. Yahweh Goddess. Hallelujah. Yahweh Goddess. Okay. Hallelujah. Yahweh Goddess. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yahweh Goddess. Hallelujah. Mikosa algefrei manaboge. Hallelujah. Mikosa algefrei manaboge. Hallelujah. Ikinakal gefrei manaboge. Hallelujah. Ikinakal gefrei manaboge. Hallelujah.
Abogies. It's in that song. What would be the infinitive or dictionary form of this word? Abogina. And that means what? We have the dictionary real quick, or know it? Anybody know it? What does it mean? They sit or they live. Live. But the key word is they. It's plural. Abogida. So this is one of those suppletion words. So it has a different form in the singular. What would you think it'd be in singular form? Lives, or they are there, or they sit there. Legida. Abogies. See, legida would be if we were talking about one person has gone on or whatever. Here we're talking about they or we. If we saw two people, it'd be what? I'll leave it in this sentence points here. Doggies. Dogida is two sit. Legies is one person sitting. Doggies is two people sitting. Abogies, more than two. They sit. But in these songs here, they use it as also they have gone or they live or actually, it's what they're saying is they have gone on before us, is what the whole meaning behind it is.
But now they talk kind of a slang Creek. They cut a whole lot of it off. When I was growing up, my grandma, when I talked to her, if I said anything wrong, she'd stop me and she'd say, "This is the way to say it. That's not the way to say it. Say it this way." So she had me talking fluent Creek, and I believe in teaching fluent Creek, but now they cut a lot of words off. They kind of use slang, and it's getting away from us most of the time. I think Creek language is important to me because it's getting away from us, and we're not using it like we usually do every day when I was growing up. It's getting away from us, and I feel like that even the young people should know how to talk to their elders in Creek. If not, if they don't talk to them in Creek, I feel like they ought to understand what they're talking about anyway. Even if they answer them in English, you know, if the elders talk to them in Creek and answer them in English, they understand the Creek. And it is very important to me that for the students to learn, or for the young people and the elders that want to learn the language, because it's important, because we're getting away from it. And I feel like it's their first language, and English is our second language, so I feel like that young people or anybody that wants to learn it should learn it.
You first hear them talking to each other, and they didn't know it before.
It makes me feel good, like I say, I'm proud of all the students that I taught. Anybody that sees this videotape, I encourage them to learn all the Creek they can, and because it's one that's getting away from us, and that's one that we need to get back onto and learn it. And I think that I know that we all need to learn a little bit of Creek, whether we learn a whole lot or not.
So what do we do with these sounds that we're trying to imitate as Creek? In isolation, we can't do much except sing a song like but what we have learned to do is combine these into 2-letter and 3-letter segments, and in doing so, we can come up and vocalize different words. Like we can tell the difference between this one, this one, this one, because they have different sound combinations. So for instance, this one here has that ch sound. Ch, then e, ch, c. You know, and we learned that a while back, that we're able to put these words, these sounds together to make up a word. So if we were to do that, ch, c, ch, go, chu, z, because this one has a different vowel sound. Chu, z.
My name is Pete Coser, and I work here at Oklahoma State University, and I'm a coordinator with the Multicultural Development and Assessment Center, and currently I work with the Native American students on campus and work with other programs on campus and in the process of program development, and the Muskogee Creek language class that we have here at Oklahoma State, and currently observing at the present moment is one of the activities that I'm involved in and working with. I'm always interested in the Muskogee Creek language because I was born and raised in a full-blood Muskogee Creek home, and my parents were bilingual, and the Creek language was their first language, and I'm from that generation where we either picked it up or we didn't, or learned some, so it's always been an interest of mine, and I have a basis of the language, but I've always wanted to learn more, so it's an interest for me. And here at Oklahoma State, there's always been a need expressed by students, expressed by faculty, and community members to start a type of language program here at Oklahoma State. Language instruction itself, the development. So here at Oklahoma State there was nothing. and OSU needs to be involved in that. And again, I'm very pro tribal language and wanting to learn more and more myself and hopefully become fluent one of these days. But the interest is still there. And coming next fall, the Creek language class should be a part of Arts and Sciences Extension, and it should be a 2-hour class and will be offered to the community. And so I expect a large enrollment for this class, although I won't kind of step by the side, but that was the intention, was to promote a tribal language and to create interest. And that's the direction I'm going on.
Yet is gifted us. Your name, Muskogi Obonaga Joga Hitska. This boya hiyan iskirkat os.
Boomer sooner, boomer sooner, boomer sooner, boomer sooner. I'm a sooner born and a sooner bred, and when I die I'll be a sooner dead. Ra Oklahoma, Ra Oklahoma, Ra Oklahoma. Okay, you.